Hello and welcome back! I am DarcyBits, and today I've asked myself the question, what if you took the mana costs and the card types from a Duel Decks, an old product from Magic the Gathering, which I don't think they do anymore, which is a shame. They were two pre-con decks that were designed to be, balanced against each other. Well, we're throwing all of that out, especially the balancing part, because we're going to shove that information into Urza's AI, and we're going to see what it has to say. We are today using the Duel Decks Garruk versus Liliana. I considered having the Garruk cards have one deck name and the Liliana cards having another deck name, and I decided not to, so here we are. I'm curious to see how much Liliana is going to end up in the Garruk cards and how much Garruk is going to end up in the Liliana cards. But I'm excited! Hopefully we get an interesting, weird narrative of these two characters as warped through the lens of Urza's AI, but probably not. Probably that's not actually what's going to happen. But we can dream, can't we? So, without further ado, we're going to move to our first card. And today we are just going through one at a time, not worrying about if they make any sense, unless they actually don't make any sense. No power level restrictions here. First card drafted is the first card we get. So, these decks could have very wild variants, is what I'm trying to say, which is very exciting for me. Our first card is Garruk, Thorn Crown Ruffian. So that's awesome. The only thing that Urza's AI knows is that it is a 4-mana legendary planeswalker, and that it's got 2 green pips. That's all it knows. Other than that the deck name is Duel Decks Garruk versus Liliana. It decided to give it a Garruk planeswalker type. That was its own decision. As we can see, we're going to have to reroll this anyway, though, because it has no loyalty. Garruk Throne Crown Ruffian is a 4-mana legendary planeswalker, Garruk. At the beginning of each combat, choose target creature your opponent and... what? Creature you control and opponent controls, so that doesn't work. Each creature gains, when this creature dies, create a 3/3 green beast creature token with trample. And you gain 1 life. Tap, add green, tap, or add white. But even though that text didn't make any sense, the cherry on the top is that there is no loyalty. As much as I like to read the flavor text, I'm going to avoid reading flavor text of cards we're re-rolling, because sometimes it gets hard to remember what happened in a dream and an alternate reality, and what is actually happening in our weird narrative. So I'm going to ignore that flavor text for now. We shall see what it says next time. Ooh, we got loyalty this time, so that's good. Garruk, Slayer of Weirs is a 4-mana, green, 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Garruk. For +2 loyalty, until your next turn, create target creature and opponent controls can't block this turn. That's not bad. I mean, it's an expensive body to just have that effect, but for +2, could be cool, especially if there's a good ultimate. But is there? No, there's a -3, but whatever. Let's see what it says. -3, creatures you control gain tap, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Huh, that's super weird. It's like your opponent gets... all of your creatures get, do damage to a guy instead of do damage to face, and they don't have to attack. I guess if they have Vigilance, you could, attack and then also tap with them, which would be pretty cool, but assuming that's not the case, yeah, all of your creatures this turn can wither things. Seems pretty decent. I think it's kind of expensive for the cost, but otherwise it's, actually a functional planeswalker, which is pretty cool. He turned a threat into a tool. Very good. All right. Let's see what else we got. So the AI almost never makes planeswalkers unless you explicitly tell it to by, in straight up saying, hey, you have to make a planeswalker, which is what we did here. So it doesn't have that much experience with planeswalkers, so even them just functioning at all is generally considered pretty good. Gutter Troll is a 1-mana 1/1 green troll. It has Defender, And for 3 mana, Monstrosity 3. If this creature isn't monstrous, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes monstrous. Something else to point out is that we are rolling 1 copy per unique card in the deck. So after I'm done doing this, I'm going to have to go through and figure out which cards are the ones that there's 2 ofs in the actual dual decks, because some cards there's 2 ofs in the dual decks. They're not singletons. And whatever those happen to be, we're going to have 2 of them, no matter how trash they are, which is exciting. We always eat in the cave, but this time I wanted a different treat. Gutter Troll. Gutter Troll is a troll. Don't know why it's only a 1, but ooh. Well, we have a green card called Liliana's Ingenuity. Liliana's Ingenuity is a 2-mana 2/2 green insect druid. Okay, I love insect druids. Underutilized type line in Magic. Whenever Liliana's Ingenuity becomes tapped, you gain 2 life. Tap, add green. This card's rad. Oh, I love this. It's like a pristine medallion. Is that what it's called? There's like a mana rock that gains you a life whenever you tap it. It's fun. This species isn't one for cut and dried plants. Some insects do it backwards. Nicol said that. So what is the narrative here? This is Liliana's Ingenuity, but it's in the Garruk deck. I don't know. I don't know what that means yet. I like that card, though. That card's cool. Undercity Imposter is a 2-mana 2/1 green spirit. Whenever Undercity Imposter deals combat damage to a player, you may exile target creature you control. That sounds useless. It is it's just a 2-mana 2. This is just bad. This is just absolutely garbage. Wow, amazing. But Undercity Imposter is the one we get. It functions, so it's going in the deck. We'll have to do. You may not live here, but you will never forget. Chandra Nalar. What do you have to do with this? This is the dual decks Garruk versus Liliana. Get out of here, Chandra. Get out of here. Alright. Thousand Winds? What? Thousand Winds is a 2-mana 2/2 green snake. That's kind of cool. I almost picture it like maybe like a group of snakes called Thousand Wings. Because there's a whole bunch of snakes. I don't know. It has Flash. Awesome. And for 2 mana, Thousand Winds deals 2 damage to target creature. Cool. So it can ping things down 2 for 2. Not terrible. Works. As the breezes gusted, a flash of claws became visible in the forest's foliage. These snakes got claws. I hope these snakes have claws. Wild Growth is a 3-mana 3/2 green dinosaur. Now we're talking. Other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1 and have trample. I hope this is one of the cards that we have 2 of. So you could have 2 of them and they'll buff each other. Is that good enough? Probably not, but it'd be funny. I mean, what do we know? Maybe there will be more dinosaurs. I doubt it, but wouldn't that be amazing? Not only can a voracious appetite fuel this giant, but so can our army. Ravnican Elder. Oh, yeah. By the way, that thing's gonna eat our army, and it's gonna suck. Oh, well. Centaur Prize Fighter is a 4-mana 3/3 green centaur. That makes sense. Whenever Centaur Prize Fighter attacks, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Cool. So it's a 4-mana 5/5 when attacking and 3/3 any other time. Not great, but it'll do. In its stomach is the carapace of an elk. Wow, that's very specific. Huh. Do you think that means it's like a centaur with the body of an elk, or do you think it means it eats elks? Probably it eats elks. What? Medusar Ranger. I don't know what Medusar means. It's like Medusa and also like a dinosaur. 4 mana for a 2/2 green treefolk druid. Love me a druid. Medusar Ranger enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of creatures you control. Okay, potentially powerful. Whenever a creature you control dies, if Medusar Ranger has a +1/+1 counter on it, you gain 2 life. Oh, okay, so we got 2 life gain cards so far. We could maybe do something. This is super interesting. I've done a lot of forging where it's either just kind of like making cards for fun or making cards sort of like a draft or intentionally trying to make cards and save the ones that are relevant and find the synergies as you emergently make more things. But we are just stuck with these and they're going directly into a pre-con deck. We're not doing any deck building. We're just throwing them straight into like how they would be as if these were the cards that came with the dual decks. So it's really interesting to be like, I'm trying to see if I can find a through line, but there might just not be one. There's nothing you can do about it. Very cool. Okay, so if it has at least one counter on it, which it will. It'll always have at least one, right? Because it sees itself. Yes, number of creatures you control, not other creatures you control. So at minimum, this is a 4-mana 3/3 that when a creature dies that you control, you gain 2 life. That's not horrible, and it has the potential to be better. I'm into it. Waves Eye, who's next? That almost looks like it's somebody accidentally reading their stage direction. Like, Waves Eye, who's next? Warplow is a 4-mana 3/3 worm. It's vanilla, but it does have flavor text. Some worms survive by building bridges and tunnels between ruined towns and homesteads. Others ride through the ruins, following the few remaining trails of kerosene and flame. This is like the ultimate limited. It's like not just limited to the cards you draft and then you build a deck. It's just like, here they are. Guess what? This 4-mana 3/3, you might love this card by the end of the game. I don't know. Might just actually be good enough in that horribly limited environment. I'm excited. Gut Muncher is a 5-mana 3/3 green insect. Not an insect druid, though. When Gut Muncher enters the battlefield, create a food token. Okay, it's an artifact with 2, tap, sacrifice, gain 3 life. Got it. Also, Gut Muncher has the ability, tap, sacrifice Gut Muncher. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of food tokens you control. What? Food token synergy? What? No. Okay, I mean, this doesn't make food tokens other than the one on ETB. So unless we get something else that makes foods, this is basically useless. But, alright, there's something there. Maybe. It's one-time use, too. If this was just tap, like, give something -X/-X, that would be maybe interesting. But as tap sacrifice, pretty brutal. Yeah. It eats you for breakfast. Vashti, Inquisitive Sentry. Great, very good. Greenwood Trunks is a... Wow. These dual decks had expensive cards. 7-mana star green tree folk. Greenwood Trunks' power and toughness are each equal to the number of forests you control. Okay. I mean, yeah, that could close a game, depending on what the other deck has. I'm starting to think these decks might actually end up being pretty balanced just because, like, there's such a weird, like, some cards are okay and some cards are real bad, and that's going to be true for the other deck too, right? A tangle of magic branches is all that is left for my tree. Of my tree. Elspeth. Elspeth has a tree? Creep Tunneler is a 7-mana green 7/7 elemental with Swamp Walk? Other creatures you control have Swamp Walk. Holy crap, what? Did it know? Is it like, oh yeah, Garruk versus Liliana, I know what to do with that. I give the green card Swamp Walk. What? That's amazing. I mean, it's 7 mana. Like, this thing could close a game, though, right? You have a board, there's like a stalemate between the two players, and then it's just like 7 mana, Creep Tunneler, I swing with the team, you're dead. Like, just the fact that this is specifically going into the green deck versus the black deck. Like, if I haven't said that explicitly. If you don't know Magic well enough, you might not know what I'm talking about. Garruk, green Planeswalker. This is the green Garruk deck going up against black Planeswalker Liliana deck. Ugh. You know, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure these decks are actually preloaded into Urza's AI. If you say, build me a monocolored deck, I think it gives you one of these decks. Because they're like the only monocolored officially made like product, precon product. I think that's true. I could be wrong. I could be mistaken, but I think that's actually accurate. So I had to jump through some hoops to get these get these ready because, of course, I make things more difficult than they are. But I think they're preloaded if you ever want to try and do something like this yourself. The difference there is that those decks will generate a different card. It'll be like, if there's 2 of, you'll generate 2 cards to fill that 2 of slot, whereas I'm going to duplicate whatever card fills that second slot. Anyway, once upon a time, we fought for our land. Now we fight for each other. Rumpelstiltskin. All right. Akroma's Memorial is a 1-mana green enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on Akroma's Memorial. Okay. For 3 mana, put target creature card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. This is useless! Unless you could, like, turn an enchantment into a creature or something. It doesn't matter. The counters are on this enchantment. They're not useful. And 3 mana, put something from your graveyard on the bottom of your life. I guess if you like need to like resist mill or something, but wow, that's nothing. Yeah, this card's just dead. Oh well, there's bound to be some of those. The sky's vault was shattered. The cosmos shook, and countless lives were lost. Gerard of the Weatherlight. I'm actually kind of curious how well a like pre-con style Urza's AI deck could fare against a pre-con Real Magic deck, because obviously if you're sifting through all the infinite possibilities of Urza's AI and 2 is only the best cards, you're going to have a way more broken deck than Real Magic, but like a lot of these cards are nothing. But also, precons aren't the highest power level, right? They're an introductory product. They want you to slot out the bad stuff and put in better cards because that's like part of the joy of like deck building. Like that's supposed to be a enjoyable part of the game. Like they want to have those lower powered cards for you to slot out so that you can engage in deck building in a structured, semi-structured way. Anyway, Punish is a 1-mana green instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. I kind of like this -2/-2 theme that we're seeing in the deck. I don't know if that's like anything special, but it's just like, yeah. Instead of just shock, this is shock, but it's the green version. It's -2/-2, which I don't think that's especially a green thing, but it's interesting. It's actually kind of interesting in that like a lot of this reads almost like green-black, which makes sense because the AI's the deck name that's been put in is Garruk versus Liliana, and if the AI recognizes those terms, it will go, oh, green-black, I know that. So, I'm curious. Ooh, Liliana's going to have a quote here. The smell of a justly slain creature has been a sore reminder to the foul vermin that they have no place on Garruk's world. Oh, I don't know what that means, but I just like the fact that it's Liliana talking about Garruk, and it's, putting both of their names in the dual decks was a good idea. Yes. Flickerfoot Boots is a 1-mana green enchantment. Okay, another enchantment. I wonder if these were supposed to be, like, auras or something. Yeah. Because, again, only the card type, not the subtype, has been informed to the AI. Whenever you cast a red spell, that's not going to happen, you may untap target creature. Whenever you cast a green spell, you may untap target creature. Okay, cool. That's actually kind of a fun design for a dual decks like this. Like, we printed this card, and it's intended to go into this mono-green deck, but you could take it out and put it in your green-red deck if you wanted to. That's like an interesting design for a card if you were to make like a pre-con format like this. Or maybe you were making like a jumpstart format, right? Where you've got 2 different mono-colored packets and you smash them together. And so this could go into the green-red deck, or it could just go into a mono-green deck. Yeah, interesting. The murmurs of many elves are stilled when one of their number rides upon the wilds. Is this that good? Not really, but it's like fine. It gives yourself kind of pseudo-vigilance, which could be relevant, as we saw with Garruk's ability, right? If you wanted to attack, your guys are top down. But if you then cast an instant spell, you can untap somebody and then tap them to activate Garruk's ability. Or just you could even tap them to Garruk's ability, then untap them by casting something, tap them again for Garruk's ability, which, to remind you, it's just happened in the video, but people are showing up live, so I feel like I should mention it. Funny how this format's weird. Hi, YouTube. Garruk's ability is, until the end of turn, all of your creatures have tap, deal, give a target creature -2/-2 until end of turn. So if you could tap them multiple times, maybe that's relevant. I don't know. Could be interesting. It'd be fun if there is like a through line there. Did I already read that flavor text? I feel like I did. Oh well. Birthing Pod. I know that card. Birthing Pod is a 2-mana green tribal enchantment ape. Okay. If you control a permanent of the color of your choice, draw a card. Huh. This is 2-mana draw a card. Okay. For a second there, I thought that this broke, where I was like, oh, ape isn't an enchantment creature. It shouldn't be an ape, but it's a tribal enchantment. And if you don't know, because it doesn't come up very often, tribal is a keyword or a super keyword? No, not keyword. Type? Is that super type? Basic type? No, not basic type. It's a card type, which basically means that this card is allowed to have a creature type, even though it's not a creature. That's basically what it means. It doesn't really mean anything. It's more of a denoter, but technically speaking, it's only allowed to have a creature type if it's a creature. So tribal allows it to have a creature type, if that makes sense, in the weird parlance of the game. Which is relevant for stuff where it's like, when you cast an ape spell or whatever, this would count even though it's not a creature. That kind of thing. I'm very curious what the actual tribal enchantment from Garruk's deck is. No idea. But tribal is enforced, right? Even though ape is not. But yeah, this is just draw a card. This is just... Well, no, wait. No, it's not. Ooh, I'm glad I took some time to think about this. Because I completely was interpreting this like it was an instant or a sorcery. This doesn't say, when this enters the battlefield, if you control a permanent of the color of your choice, draw a card. It just says, if you control the permanent of the color of your choice, draw a card. That's just a static effect that's always true, which means you just draw infinite cards. So I think this is a free reroll. There's like, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. This is just a reroll. Lucky for, I'm not reading rerolls. We talked about this. Sorry, I've gone on too long about this card. Birthing Pod, see ya. Mystic Initiation is a 2-mana green tribal enchantment spirit. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on it. Now we're talking. That's pretty good. Yeah, just all of your creatures enter with an extra +1/+1 counter on them. Pretty dang cool. The tribal past continues to loom large in the Forsaken, drawing in seekers who've lost their way. I do actually really like Spirit on, like, non-creatures. I think that's really fun. I think that you could do that more. Honestly, here's the weird thing about Kamigawa, the original Kamigawa, is it had Arcane, which was a subtype of, like, sorceries and instants. Did instants have it or just sorceries? I'm not entirely sure. And a lot of cards are like, when you cast a Spirit or Arcane spell, they could have just made all of those, like, tribal sorcery spirits. That would have been really cool. Or if you had, like, spirit spells, and so it's just, like, had these things that key off of spirit spells, and then splice onto spirit sorcery or something. Or, like, splice onto, like, non-permanent spirit. I guess that's unclean, but I think that could have been interesting instead of having this whole, like, weird arcane thing. If they just made them all splice onto spirit, would have been really flavorful, would have been really interesting, and it would have made it this non-niche mechanic that we've never seen since. And so, like, splice onto isn't a thing. Even though splice onto is a really cool mechanic. Like, they could do stuff with that, but since it was a set mechanic, it doesn't have any larger support, so it feels very stranded, right? It's like a limited only mechanic almost, which is a real shame. Unlike something like in the new Kamigawa, Modified, sure, that's a set mechanic, but anything can benefit from that because modified is just counters or friendly enchantments, or equipment, right? It's just stuff. It's just nice stuff. And all sets have those things. I'm rambling. I like this. This is cool. The tribal past continues to loom large in the Forsaken, drawing the Seekers who've lost their way. I think I read that, but moving on. Wall of Denial is a 2-mana green sorcery. Wall of Denial deals 3 damage to target creature. That creature can't block this turn. Cool. Fine. Kind of boring. There's something interesting about this where you're like, I need to get rid of something. It's got 3 toughness. I'm just going to kill it, and then I'm going to move to combat. Cool, because it's sorcery. You're not going to do it as a combat trick. But if the thing you're up against is like an 8/8 or something, and you can't kill it, just saying you can't block this turn might be enough to let you get through and finish the game. I see this card as having potential, not in a constructed format, or probably even a limited format, but in this pre-con, I can see myself playing this. You won't see the shapes that the wood takes, but you will hear the echoes. Sidar Jabari. Cool. Tectonic Edge is a 3-mana green enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has trample. Sweet. We love giving creatures trample. That's great. And +2/+2 is perfectly fine. I don't know how this compares to actual enchantment auras. I'd have to check. But it seems fine to me. 3 mana for this effect seems good enough. You want a sharp weapon to tear your enemies to shreds? You'll need a rock to break their bones. Magnus Chrome. Mutagenic Synergy is a 3-mana green instant. Mutagenic Synergy deals 3 damage to target creature, and you gain 3 life. Cool. So this is instant speed instead of sorcery speed, and you get some life. Rad. And it costs 1 more than that last spell. I like it. I don't know what you're fighting for, but I know that we're not going down without a fight. Rida. Honestly, I feel like we've seen a decent number of life gain things in this deck, but we haven't really seen any life gain payoff. It's just life gain for the sake of life gain, which is fine. That's useful, don't get me wrong, but would have been cool if there was some form of life gain payoff. Chimeric Staff is a 4-mana artifact. As Chimeric Staff enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach Chimeric Staff to it. For 4 mana, regenerate Chimeric Staff. Okay. Technically, this card works. It is useless. But even if it wasn't useless, I still think I'm gonna veto it on the grounds of the black mana. It's not just useless, it is unusable by this commander. It doesn't function in the concept of a mono green deck. So I think I'm going to do a free veto here. I never specified that was something I was going to do in this set, but I think it seems reasonable. Regenerate the staff? Not even regenerate the creature. That's wild. That's so funny. I do think it's cool to have an equipment that doesn't have an equip cost. It's just the auto equip. That's kind of cool. Stone Cage is a 4-mana artifact. Whenever a creature with Defender is dealt damage, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. We have a single Defender in the deck, so that's actually not nothing. 2 mana, sacrifice Stone Cage. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is awful. For 4 mana, this is horrible. But it functions. It's in our colors. We're going to keep it. 100 times 100. 1, 2, 3 times 100. Once, twice, 3 times 100. And so on. Alright, cool. Oh, there's more. Scion of Pantheon is a 4-mana green sorcery. Create 2 2/2 green human creature tokens. I think that's kind of okay for 4 mana. If this was instant, it'd be really cool. But at sorcery, it's kind of whatever. But it's not terrible. The rising sun only dawns once every 1,000 years. When it does, It gathers followers of all paths to welcome the dawn? Dawn! To welcome the dawn with ritual, song, and sacrifice. That makes sense. Savage Sojourn is a 5-mana green sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay, I mean, it's expensive, but like, if B gets a busted enchantment, which I haven't looked at the deck list, but probably she's going to get some enchantments like we got enchantments. I didn't say that at the top. I'm going to be playing the green deck, and she's going to be playing the black deck. We already decided that before seeing the cards. Destroy target artifact enchantment. Just having the ability to might be worth it, even though it's super expensive. The lands surrounding Eldrazi were once teeming with life, but the deft hands of Liliana Vess made them barren. Is Garruk defending Eldrazi? As if Eldrazi's like the name of a forest or something? What? Okay. This is fine. Reclaim is a 5-mana green instant. Create a 3/3 green beast? Wait, what? So this is a 3/3 beast with like it basically is a 5-mana 3/3 with flash. I guess that could be worse? Yeah, I mean, okay. If this was sorcery, this would be nothing, but as instant, maybe it's useful. The lumbering beasts have little regard for danger. They push through without a second thought. Liliana Vess, Elder Mage. A lot of stuff about Liliana Vess. Hope it pays off when we see like what her Planeswalker card looks like. Putrefaction is a 5-mana green sorcery. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. You gain 7 life. There we go! Yes! We did it! Yes! Yes! Alright. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna want my entire board to get destroyed, but like, that's a solid board wipe. That's that's like going rate for board right. 5 mana for a destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Plus you get 7 life. I hope we see some life gain payoff. I think we're like on the last couple of cards, so we probably won't. But there is always death for a human in Naya. Are we in Naya now? All right. Grow from within. Ooh, it's an X green. Okay. For X and a green, grow from within is an instant. Create X 2/2 green insect creature tokens. Grow from within deals X damage to target creature. This card is busted. What? Oh, this is great. At 2 mana, it makes you a 2/2. At 3 mana, it makes you 2 2/2s. At 4 mana, it makes you 3 2/2s. At 5 mana, you're getting 4 2/2s? And you get to zap a creature? Oh, this is amazing. Oh, it's grow from within. They're crawling out of the creature you kill. Ah! Oh, gross. To quote A to Z Magic. What? To quote A to Z Magic item designer Andrew Engelbrecht, nothing grows a better foundation than a healthy bed of termites. They're termites! Ah! Oh, these insects are termites? Oh! That is a graphic image in my mind. Okay. That just hit that hit all the marks. It's good, it's interesting, it's got flavor text that matches. Mwah, chef's kiss. What the heck? Alright, moving on. Temple of Malady. Oh yeah, they all had like a couple of lands that were non-basic. Temple of Malady. Temple of Malady enters the battlefield tapped. Add black or green. I could have actually used the black one. I couldn't have because I only have 1 black source and it required black. But yeah, I think it had the activated ability that cost black. That's funny. Okay. Do we keep this? I mean, the odds of me actually getting a relevant land from the AI seems pretty low. And this is functional. It's just generating you black mana for no reason, which I think is just kind of fun. Like, it's not good. It enters tapped and it makes mana you don't care about, but like, I can imagine a pre-con product that's like, here, have this land. It lets you generate black mana. Why would you want this? I don't know. Maybe you want to mash these two decks together and make a weird hybrid deck, which is totally a thing I can imagine someone doing with a dual decks product. I think it kind of works. I'm going to leave it in. I think that sounds fun. What's the flavor text say? When something tries to be ugly, it often ends up looking worse. That's actually the really fun thing about these cards so far, is that we've only seen the green cards, but Liliana and Garruk are both present in the narrative, which feels really, really cool. Because you could take apart both decks and jam them together, which I'm sure people actually did with this real product. And the narrative would flow. Like, the cards that were in the green one are talking about Liliana, which is fine, because you actually are now playing a deck that runs both cards or something. Like, that's cool. I like that. We have one more land, I think. Root Water Bridge. Land, taps to add colorless, or colorless green, add green green. Huh. Dang, that's like weird. So once again, in this deck, that's irrelevant, but it's a perfect filter. Do filters this strong exist? Like, it doesn't tap to do that. It just is spend 2 mana, one of which has to be green, to make 2 green. So, as long as you have 1 green mana, all of your mana can be made into green, because you spend 2 mana, one of which is green, to make 2 green, then any other mana and one of those 2 greens to make the other mana into green. That's a very powerful filter. Huh, I wonder if you'd ever see something like this in real Magic. This is like, filters usually have a cost, or can only be used like a couple number of times per turn or something, but there are cards that let you just turn all of your mana into one color, and the fact that this is like, it requires you to have at least 1 green source to be able to go off, that's kind of cool. I don't know, it's probably too good, but it's actually one of the most interesting lands I've ever seen from Urza's AI. It's not good at making lands. After the first session, Liliana Vess imagined the long-abandoned bridge spanning the Rive, as a crumbling ruin. That is, until she decided it could make an excellent home for the local Shade Whirls. I hope we see some Shade Whirls in the other deck. That said, we're moving on to the other deck right now. And it is Garruk again! Wait. Garruk Primal Hunter is a 5-mana black planeswalker. It doesn't have loyalty, so we are going to reroll this, so that's fine. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay X black. If you do, draw X cards. Tap, regenerate target creature. This is awesome. I mean, it's not really a planeswalker. It doesn't have planeswalker abilities, but, like, this is rad. That's a cool ability. It's 5 mana on ETB, though, and, like, planeswalkers can't tap the turn they come into battlefield, can they? I actually don't know if they can. I don't think many have tap abilities. Huh. Anyway. Weird. I'm not reading the flavor text. We talked about this. Reroll. It's not a functional card. Come on, give me a Liliana. That's Garruk again. Garruk Crazed Crasher is a 5-mana black legendary planeswalker Garruk. Once again, no from loyalty. When Garruk Crazed Crasher enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Just an ETB, that's all it is. Wow, that's nothing. In Garruk's... No, we're not reading that. I just wanted to make sure that it's finished rendering before I summon the next card. Sometimes that can cause issues if you don't wait long enough, as a heads up. Garruk! Get out of here, Garruk! We don't care! Go away! Garruk Primal Hunter is a 5-mana black legendary planeswalker. Whenever Garruk Primal Hunter or another planeswalker you control dies, you gain X life and draw X cards. Has to be a legend another planeswalker you control? Wow. Where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Pretty cool. But all it does is die? That's kind of a cool idea for a Planeswalker, though. The idea of a Planeswalker that just sort of protects your other Planeswalkers by threatening you. Like, if you kill my Planeswalker, I'm going to get a whole bunch of Constellation Prize, so you better kill me first, eh? That's kind of fun, actually. I actually like that design a lot. That sounds cool. Let's make like a Teo or something that does that. Alright. What do we have? Come on. Liliana. Garruk, go away! Garruk Wildspeaker is a 5-mana black legendary planeswalker. Whenever you cast a spell, you may have target creature get +1/+1 until end of turn. For -1, you gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. Cool! You don't have any loyalty, though. Next. Garruk Wildspeaker. I have to decide. I have to make a decision. This one has loyalty. Garruk Wildspeaker is a 5-mana, 4 loyalty, black, legendary planeswalker Garruk. +1, put a +1/+1 counter on Garruk Wildspeaker. That's useless. -3, create a 2/2 black and green spider creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain 3 life. That's kind of rad. -6, target creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. I must feel the rapture of your blood in my hands. Garruk Wildspeaker. Well, this was going to be Garruk versus Liliana Duel Decks, and we've seen a bunch of Liliana in the flavor text, but I think this is Garruk versus Garruk Duel Decks. The green side of Garruk and the black side of Garruk fighting against each other in a psychic battle of wits or minds. Not wits. I don't think wits are relevant to this, but id, maybe? I think that's what this is. Is Liliana involved somehow? Did Liliana trap Garruk in their own mind and now they have to struggle their own internal demons? We need to find out. We need to keep going. Wow, okay. Onward. Voltaic Brawler is a 1-mana black 1/1 cat warrior. As long as you control a Liliana planeswalker, dang it, crap. No! Should I go back? Should I go back and make a different planeswalker? It's supposed to be Liliana. I kind of love this narrative of the 2 Garruks fighting each other. That's really funny. Inside of you, there are 2 Garruks. But, like, what? If you control a Liliana planeswalker? Okay, either I re-roll the planeswalker to Liliana, or I re-roll the Voltaic Brawler. Neither one is technically allowed by the rules I set forth, but I think we gotta. If the card not just doesn't do anything, because we've seen cards that just are dead cards and don't do anything. We've seen that already. But, like, this wants a thing, and it doesn't have that thing. Like that one card we re-roll with the black mana. Yeah, I'm rolling it. I'm rolling this again. We're gonna keep Garruk, I think. Which is going to be, like, I hope we don't see this too often. If we see multiple Liliana Planeswalker specific cards, this is going to be so frustrating. I'm going to be so upset. No, we're going to reroll Voltaic Brawler. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Let's go. It's Garruk versus Garruk. Garruk Clade Gifter. There we go. Garruk Clade Gifter is a 1-mana 1/1 black spirit. Whenever another creature dies, you may gain 1 life. I hope that these 2, like, decks actually jam really well into, like, a 3rd deck. That would be really cool if that happens. As its last breath, the gargantuan sentience returns to its mortal form, reaffirming its status as one of nature's greatest gifts. Cool. Another creature dies, gain a life. Okay. Korazda Glimmerstrike is a 1-mana 1/1 black snake warrior. Ooh. It has reach, and tap, target creature gets +1/+1 to end of turn. Cool. Sweet. As the hunted transform into gorgons, so do their prey. But this is a snake warrior. Okay, whatever. Lightning Tail Maneater is a 1-mana 1/1 black goblin shaman. Weird. When Lightning Tail Maneater enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature you control. Wow, that's horrible. It just dies. It just dies. See, this is what I'm talking about. This card, I'm not vetoing this card. This card functions. It's just horrible. What? It smells like grime and death. It's what comes from that little bundle in your pocket. That other card mentions Liliana and gets vetoed, but this one's in. Phyrexian Sower is a 2-mana 2/2 black ooze. Trample. When Phyrexian Sower enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. Cool, more life gain. It was too beautiful to last. Yeah, alright, fair enough. Beholder Wake Rider is a 2-mana 1/1 black elf druid. It has flash, and you may pay generic and black, and gain this ability. If you do, draw 2 cards. I think this is a reroll. What the heck does that mean? When may I pay 2 and gain this ability? Is that like a cost? There's no colon. And who is gaining the ability? I am? The player? Can a player have, like, abilities? No, that's not how that works. I mean, technically you have the ability of playing cards, which is, like, just kind of a rule that floats around you. Could you add rules to that? I'm re-rolling this. Liliana's Lieutenant. Okay. I mean, we saw a previous Liliana card in green. I think that Liliana is present. She's just not, like, directly doing something. She's, like, manipulating Garruk from a distance. She's like a puppet master. Both Garruks? Ah! Liliana's Lieutenant is a 2-mana 2/2. Maybe the second Garruk is a zombie Garruk. I don't know how zombie Garruk is fighting real Garruk. How does that work? Did Garruk get cloned? Like, they died? And they got, like, reincarnated, and now there's a zombie Garruk, and they're both Garruk Planeswalkers? This is a terrible... I don't need to... Liliana's Lieutenant is a 2-mana 2/2 black human cleric. When Liliana's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. That's it. This land will become a battle-scarred wasteland in which only the fittest will survive. Liliana Vest. What is going on? Crop Rotation is a 3-mana 2/2 black spirit. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Awesome. Do we have any of those? It saps the spirit from the crop, not the grower. Grixis Shadow is a 3-mana 3/3 black Eldrazi. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Grixis Shadow deals 1 damage to that player. Not actually that horrible, but still cool. I can feel your hatred, twisted and ancient. It echoes ringing in my mind, and I feel you as you too hear those echoes reaching for me. Sarkhan Ball. Sarkhan's here? Oh right, we saw Chandra earlier. What? Wild Shaman is a 3-mana 2/1 black bird shaman. It has flying and black. Sacrifice Wild Shaman. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. That seems not great. Somewhere on the wooded fringes of Garruk's thicket, a sentry cries out for a savior. Wah! Scarback Whelp, 3-mana 3/3 black beast, vanilla. That's like the same as the other one. I think Garruk had a green deck. Green Garruk. The green Garruk. I'm losing my mind. I'm just like rapid fire going through this, trying to find the next piece of the puzzle to answer these questions. Some sentient beings find solace in the presence of fierce brute beasts. The Traladaran alchemists call it the purity of power. 3-mana 3/3. That's what that is. Baneslayer Inquisitor is a 3-mana 2/1 black vampire soldier. Whenever another creature you control dies, you may put it on top of its owner's library. It's kind of cool that it's a May. No longer can he be called upon to restore our bloodlines. His deeds are in vain. Gerard Bloodletter Captain. Liliana's Pack is a 4-mana, 3/3 black beast. Another vanilla. I am Garruk. I eat. All eat. Liliana Vess. What? Okay! She's Garruk! Get what? So, she lost her type, though? What's next? Necrogen Crawler. 4 mana for a 4/2 Phyrexian zombie horror. Sacrifice Necrogen Crawler. Put a -1/- counter on target creature. Fine. What's... Yeah. Ignore that. I don't care about the ability. I gotta read the flavor text. What the haunts feed upon is so abhorrent to me that I would never even eat them. I can think of no greater horror than to hunt these things for sport. Kodrick Praetor's voice. I don't know who that is. Pygmy Raptors is a 6-mana 3/2. I guess it's a lot of raptors. Creature, bird, flying. When Pygmy Raptors enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I like that. 6 mana, but still, I love Resurrection. Raptors don't waste their eggs on big eaters. I don't know what that means. Drow Belly Button Ogre is a 6-mana 4/5. Another vanilla. What the heck? I mean, whatever. More flavor text for me. Ogre. To avoid, to fight, or to pass unnoticed, all roads lead to the Belly Button Ogre. Okay. This is just getting silly. Mist Form is a 1-mana enchantment or enchant creature. Enchanted creature has tap. Target creature gains first strike until end of turn. Weird. Okay. Fail better. Dredge on. My old granddad would yell, laughing, as the iron returned. The filthy muck to the trench it had been digging all day. I didn't mind at all. Gideon Jura. I don't know what Gideon's surname is, so maybe that's the same Gideon. Maybe it's a different Gideon. I don't know. Hunter's Inspiration. Garruk's a hunter. Yes. Hunter's Inspiration is a 2-mana black enchantment. For 2 mana, sacrifice a forest. Okay, I'm gonna reroll this one. We don't have any forests. Oh yeah. Okay. Some things I'm not rerolling. This thing we don't have any forests. But what would it have said? Sacrifice a forest. Search your library for a creature card, put onto the battlefield, and shuffle. That's really cool. I kind of want to leave this in, because I think it'd be really fun to jam these 2 decks together, but, like, you can't even justify that. Like, you could justify, like, oh yeah, this one's running this inefficient land so that you can eventually jam the decks together, because it's a product, blah. But this card just does nothing if it's not in the, like, combined deck, so it doesn't make any sense at all. That's a cool card, though. I really like that card. 2 mana to play, 2 mana to activate, and sacrifice a forest, and you get to put that's rad. Alright, whatever. So I waited for the day of my trial. The moon's face was the judge's, and I walked to the gallows. My death is the dawn of a new day. I think I'm gonna leave this card in. Liliana died and came back as Garruk? What does that mean? What? I don't know. Do I keep this? I don't know if I keep this. I feel like it goes against the precedent I've set. What the heck? I'm gonna reroll it. That's... Iron Will is a 2-mana black enchantment. Whenever a creature dies, Iron Will deals 2 damage to that creature's controller. Brutal. Every life lost is another burden for the Arcbound dead. I feel like I lost something special. Alright, let's keep going. Reanimate is a 2-mana black sorcery. Return a creature card at random from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's awesome, actually. I kind of love that. Heck yeah. More random resurrection, please. I think that that's a really cool mechanic that we could see more of. I don't want to be brought back. I want to be made into a terrifying guardian. So you fear me. For some reason, I thought there was a comma there. Okay, I know we rolled away that one card, but, like, I think Liliana Vest died and came back as Garruk, and I don't know what to do with this information. Turn to Destiny is a 2-mana black sorcery. Destroy all artifacts. You gain 4 life for each artifact destroyed this way. The wise listen to their patrons, but the followers listen to their priests. Deep Analysis. 3-mana black sorcery. Reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card into your hand. Put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Okay, this has conflicting reminder text. Is there anything we can do with this that makes it work? Reveal the top card of your library. You may put it into your hand. Put the top card of your library. I'm just gonna re-roll it. I don't want to have to like debate about whether or not the text should be respected or not, because like it's telling me a thing that's not true. But like, should it be text? Should it be treated as reminder text that's just broken? I don't know. I'm just rolling it again. If it was more interesting, maybe I'd keep it. But yeah. Seedborn Muse is a 3-mana black sorcery. Choose 1. Target creature gains Shroud until end of turn. Destroy target creature. Its controller loses 1 life. Huh. I kind of like this. I mean, generally speaking, you're going to use the sorcery speed murder. But maybe you want to use it to protect somebody? The weird thing is, it's not instant. If it was like, choose 1, you may only choose this one if it was being cast as sorcery. Like, if this was an instant and it said, like, either target creature gains Shroud until end of turn, or destroy target creature, its controller loses 1 life, you may only choose the second option if you cast this during your main phase or something. Like, the idea of, like, a sorcery speed thing that you could also cast instant speed for a different effect, because the Shroud thing is basically useless as sorcery speed. Not entirely. You can be like, I'm going to throw this down because I want to make sure that this thing can't get interacted with for the rest of the turn. Could be interesting, but yeah. If your opponent could respond, they probably would in response to this going on the stack. Yeah. This is just a sorcery speed murder. It's not as if they were worth much. Mergerelli Halfling. I don't know what that means. Skewer the Critics. Is that a real card? I think it is. That sounds correct. Skewer the Critics is a 3-mana black instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Draw a card. Weird, but sure. This is the Sword of Common Sense. Alley Wolf. Goad/Wrath is a 4-mana black instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Flashback for 2 and 3 life. Interesting. So 2 mana and 3 life. Which is, you may cast this card from its graveyard for its flashback cost, then exile it. Huh. I kind of like this. Like, 4 mana is a lot for just giving something +3/+3 till end of turn. But flashing it back for 2 mana is kind of cool. I kind of like this. It is always darkest before the dawn. Hannibal said that. What? Okay, I'm going to ignore you. Unstable Ghoul is a 4-mana black instant. Target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn. This sucks, but is legal. The pale light of undeath touches the souls of the damned, but leaves the flesh in constant pain. Quench is a 4-mana black sorcery. Exile target creature. Its controller creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token. If this was cheaper, this would be a really cool spell. I mean, this exact spell does exist for cheaper in other colors. I don't think black gets this effect, though. It's like a blue thing or a white thing. Is Prosperous... Not Prosperous. The one where you give someone an elephant. Is that exile or destroy? Raven Form is like this as well in blue, and Resculpt, I think it is. I think those are both destroy effects, though. Cool. The zombies of Amonkhet had all manner of pointless ways to kill the innocent. Yeah, that sounds about right. Quest for the Skull. What? Is Quest a real keyword? Quest for the Skull is a 5-mana black sorcery with the keyword Quest. Starting from this turn, you may cast spells only if able. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. I like the idea of being like, yeah, this sorcery speed means from now on this is true. Sure, okay, fair enough. And that is denoted with Quest. This is always true. Okay, sure. Spells you cast this way, okay, cost 1 less to cast. If a spell you control would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile it instead. Okay, so spells you control do not go to the graveyard from the battlefield ever. They're never on the battlefield. I guess a creature or a permanent. I'm going to say that a permanent going from the graveyard to the battlefield gets exiled. It's not technically a spell, I don't think. Like, it is a card when it leaves the battlefield and hits the graveyard. It's only a spell when it's on the stack, but I'm going to say that's how that works. I think this just says 5 mana. From this turn on, you may cast spells only if able, which is always true, but if you cast spells this way, you know, when able, they cost 1 less to cast. So it's just all your spells cost 1 less to cast from now on, I think this says. But also, if a spell you control would be put into a graveyard from the battlefield, exile instead. I guess the question is, that last line does not seem to be tied to the sorcery itself. Like, the quest seems to be adding a floating trigger. That's just true for the rest of the game, even though the card has gone away. Is my interpretation of this. And so I don't know if the last ability is referring to only spells cast via this floating quest. I think I'm going to say it's all just true for the rest of the game, which I think is actually really cool. It's probably too expensive to ever use, but discount of 1 for the entire rest of the game, but all of your permanents always go to exile instead of the graveyard is kind of cool. Huh. What the elves leave behind is an enduring reminder of their victory. Baron Malfurion's Mender. Like from Warcraft? Enter the Infinite. I think we already did. Is the 6-mana black sorcery. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, the other into your graveyard. Alright, it's 6 mana, come on! You can do better than this. It was easy enough for Liliana Vess to watch the ceremony. The moment Garruk transformed, she knew it would be different this time. Wait, what? No! What? I thought I was out of this. Garruk transformed. Okay. Okay, I don't know Garruk's actual story. Does Garruk transform? He's like cursed, right? Did he transform? Maybe? But in this timeline, Liliana dies and comes back as Garruk. Or something. Garruk transformed? I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening at all. Armory of Constructs is a 6-mana enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 3/3 black and green beast creature token. Whenever a beast you control deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 black and green beast creature token. Wow, this seems busted. Dang, I love this. It's 6 mana, so it's probably too slow, but still. A beat for every bell. Okay. Cool. Yeah, alright. I think that gets us to the last card. Tidal Treasure is a land. It taps to add colorless. That's it. Do I veto this? It's just a waste. Like, this is nothing. I'm going to re-roll this, and I'm not going to read the flavor text because it's going to make me sad that I'm re-rolling it. I can tell. This was a mistake. This was a mistake. There's no way I'm going to get a relevant land. Clifftop Retreat. Land. Clifftop Retreat enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a plains or an island. Tapped to add white or blue. Next. Let's do it. Let's do it. Final card. We're going to push through. Layer of Leaves. Land. Layer of Leaves enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest. Green or blue. Not green or blue. White or blue. Blech. Mishra's Factory. Land. Tap. Add colorless. Okay. Sure. Next. Tigum Pathway. Tap. Add colorless. 3. One of which has to be green. Tap. Put a charge counter on target creature you control. It deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. That's not what that means. Next. Rise of Vampires. What is wrong with you? Why do you keep making colorless cards? What is this? It doesn't even need to make black mana. It just needs to do something that is usable by this deck. That's it. That's it. All I'm asking for. Okay, good enough. You know what? Fine. You win. Rite of Spring. Land. Tap, add white or black. At the sign of the griffin, all life springs forth from the ground. Those who make themselves at home here will feel a part of the rebirth. Liliana Vess. At the sign of the griffin, all life springs forth from the ground. Those who make themselves at home here will feel a part of the rebirth. Huh. Well, that brings us to the end of the Garruk versus Liliana Duel Decks Urza's AI rendition. I have a lot to think about. Let me know your theories in the comments. I need to go for a walk. I am hearing that Garruk had a curse to transform into a demon known as the World Slayer, something I did not know. So maybe that's what that was referring to. I don't know. Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm just like dumbstruck by all of this. Yes, hi, I'm DarcyBits. Me and my partner B are going to be playing these decks against each other sometime in the future, so subscribe to see that. Also, you might want to jump over to the Twitch if you're watching this on YouTube and follow me there, because then you can get notifications for when I'm going live if you want to join that sort of weird party. Otherwise, edited videos will be here. And by edited, I mean the beginning and the end get cut off because I'm really lazy editing. I don't have time to edit. Have a good night, everyone. I'm exhausted from screaming at my computer screen. Good night!